There's a lot of expectation to perform on a great team.
They came back to school to win a national title.
You know he's had to have thought this at some point.
Legitimately make that happen with everyone that they have come back. We've talked a lot about that really need to step it up.
And plenty of pressure to win and win now. Chad, I was giving some thought to like the pressure on a Arch Manning, right? To live up to expectations of the last name. You know he's had to have thought this at some point, right? Like any parent would think this and try to make sure it's as easy as possible. You know, growing up and choosing where they're going to go to school. All of this. His grandfather Archie's already saying like, Arch is going to come back and play. He's going to play senior year at Texas. With all that being said, there's a lot of expectation and pressure to perform on a great team this year. That goes without saying for the top guys right now in college football. The definitive, maybe a stretch. You could access plenty of quarterbacks and insert them into the top 5 guys that are facing the most pressure. I just threw out, you've got Manning, Nussmeier at LSU, Allar, LaNorris Sellers has skyrocketed with popularity and expectation. And then Klubnik, who's on a very good team at Clemson, although not getting as much notoriety as maybe some of the other guys I just mentioned. Beyond that, though, there are these a ton of weight on the shoulder pads.
Before you get to
guys.
them, though, Hutton, I do want to just go through that first list.
Yeah.
Because, I think Arch Manning, while everybody's paying attention to him, and there's a lot to prove, and he said it. I don't know where all of these rankings come from because I haven't played yet for the most part. He's conscious of where he is in the national spotlight, also with the little amount he's accomplished in college football. And I like that about Arch Manning. And his grandfather's already said that he's not going anywhere. He's going to be there 4 years.
Yep.
He's going to be a 2-year starter at Texas, which we all kind of assumed. But those other guys, Nussmeier, Allar, Klubnik, Nussmeier and Allar, they came back to school to win a national title. So while I think there's a lot of pressure on Texas, they have the team to win it. I could say the same about Penn State breaking through and winning the Big Ten.
And Allar's got to be
one
the guy.
time. This is the year they can legitimately make that happen with everyone that they have come back. Nussmeier, him coming back to LSU set them up to be a playoff team and to have a chance at a national title. So there's a lot of stakes for those guys. Klubnik coming back too. There's a lot of expectation with Clemson.
And they're going to be good.
So I like the way you've leveled this discussion because I think those first guys you laid out there, it's sort of a different level of some have proven it statistically. Right. They need to prove it by winning a championship. And then there's others that we've talked a lot about that really need to step it up.
Well, and then there are the guys like LaNorris Sellers who there's pressure on him just to live up to the expectation of the way they finished the season. Is South Carolina, did they peak last year, or is he really the guy? Shane Beamer, we're mentioning any given Saturday, really talks him up. At a quarterback camp, Beamer was like, this guy was the best quarterback on the field that day, period. Maybe he shows it, maybe he doesn't, but there is an overrated factor so far to him, and we've seen more from him than what we've seen from Arch Manning. But the weight of bringing the expectation, meeting expectation at those programs, massive. Beyond those guys, though, I've picked 3 of the mounted expectation and pressure, and I've tried to gauge what I would be feeling if I were these 3 guys right now. Starting with Gunnar Stockton at Georgia. Here's a guy, Chad, who is taking over the Bulldogs. Mike Bobo, definitive. He's our guy. He made his first career start against Notre Dame in this defense. And, was thrown into the fire of the SEC championship game. And it's a different style than what we saw from, previous offenses. Maybe you could say it's a bit more like what we saw with Stetson Bennett. But here's Stockton, born and raised in Georgia, Bulldogs program, and the senior class that just left went 53-5. They went 22-0 at home. 2 SEC titles, 2 national championships. That's the mounted weight on him, is to continue that. But yet there's plenty of questions about whether or not he's going to get it done. And The wide receiver room has changed. This is a team that beat 4 top 15 teams last year, and they bring in Zach Branch and Noah Thomas. They have Nate Frazier at running back. Can the quarterback bring it all together? And if not, he'll be blamed. It'll be, he wasn't up to the standard of what we expect here at Georgia. And that's just winning or losing 2 or 3 games. It's quite the stretch because they have Tennessee and Bama before October even rolls around.
The Georgia quarterbacks under Kirby Smart.
Yes.
Fascinate me. Because, first off, Gunnar Stockton looks like he's already 37 years old.
Yes, he does.
When we saw him at SEC Media Days, I'm like, who's the assistant coach walking around?
He's the father.
With the Georgia SID.
Yeah,
that's
dad.
the quarterback at Georgia? But I say that because these guys all possess this level of adult-like maturity, it feels like. I mean, even Stetson Bennett, and I know the guy liked to party and all that while he was at Georgia, but you look at him, and I feel like I'm looking at the CEO of Georgia football. And I got that sense with Stetson Bennett, too. He was never the most dynamic playmaker.
No.
He was never the best quarterback in the SEC. He certainly didn't have the most physical talent of anyone, but it worked because he was the perfect complement to a roster stacked with 4- and 5-star talent offensively and defensively. Now I see Gunnar Stockton there, and I'm thinking it's kind of the same thing. Carson Beck was a guy expected to be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft at one point. A 5-star recruit from Jacksonville, and he was really good statistically, but a disappointment overall.
Yes.
And he ends up going to Miami, where now he's going to up the chances of Miami losing Cam Ward to be a national contender, but it's the reversal, Hutton, of now we're going to go back to the Stetson Bennett type.
This is it.
And I keep thinking, what if they had a LaNorris Sellers type, a Garrett Nussmeier, someone who is a game breaker type player at quarterback that can do things and carry teams on their own. And then I think maybe Georgia just doesn't need that. Maybe what they need is Stetson Bennett, Gunnar Stockton. It's players like this who are steady, who are not necessarily the most talented, but know how to distribute the ball to an uber-talented group.
The difference, though, is you had Stetson Bennett where when the offense got the ball and they needed to go score, they did.
Yeah, he had moxie.
Yes, he was clutch.
Yeah.
That's not Carson Beck.
And I feel the way
So what's this guy like?
The way Kirby Smart and everyone talks about, that Mike Bobo, they talk about Gunnar Stockton. Again, I get the Stetson Bennett vibes. Like he's a natural-born leader. He's the smartest guy offensively on the team. He's going to get guys in the right spot. He's going to lead by example. He's going to work his ass off, and he's going to get our 5-star studs the football, and we're going to be fine with Gunnar Stockton.
But here's the thing about him, and I'm not saying he can't pull this off, but he's one of maybe, 3 quarterbacks right now where it is title or bust, period.
Yeah.
And it's his home state. I mean, he's waited for this moment. Now he's got it.
But like DJ Lagway, it scares me. As an opponent, like I look at what he can do at his ceiling, and I think that guy can ruin your day by himself. Like the way he plays and how talented and big and strong, and he can run some too. Like that guy, I'm afraid of. I'm not afraid of Gunnar Stockton.
But the thing is, though,
that's the incredible part about these Georgia quarterbacks and their success.
Yeah.
I don't go into a game worried about Gunnar Stockton single-handedly taking over.
But the thing is, though, it's there's a respect level with it, meaning if DJ Lagway screws up, it's the coach's fault.
Yeah.
It's not going to be Kirby's fault, right? Like that's where it's back on the QB. And you know all the offseason talk after the way he entered the SEC championship game and helped them win that. And then you've got facing the top 5 defense in the country right out of the gate for the first start with that pressure. Yeah, I mean, I like him. He comes across as pretty cool, but again, you're right, Chad. He's like the dad vibes. You know?
And this is a compliment to Gunnar Stockton and Stetson Bennett that I'm like,
I know
these dudes look like me out there playing quarterback, and they're winning national titles. And Gunnar Stockton may be the next Georgia quarterback to win a national title for Kirby Smart.
Yeah,
so good for them.
Yeah, Jackson Arnold is next on my list, because he's the 5-star recruit as a freshman. It did not work out at Oklahoma. What's the year 1 to year 2 jump as he makes the move to Auburn with Hugh Freeze and plenty of pressure to win and win now? You know, they've had, 4 straight losing seasons? And 3 early road tests for him as he joins his new program. Baylor, Oklahoma, and A&M. Baylor, Oklahoma, and A&M.
Their season will be defined by those 3 games in September.
That's it. And then they have, Ole Miss, and they play Texas. They've got quite the schedule, right? Elite wide receivers. Elite wide receiver room at Auburn. Solid, strong offensive line. Is this guy the 5-star, or is he just an SEC quarterback? Like, he's really good but not great. Because if he's really good but not great, I'm not sure what Auburn ends up doing with this schedule. And that means, well, if he's back, is he starting? Because they've got another guy right behind him. And is Hugh Freeze there? There's Auburn expectations, what they've been doing is not good enough.
Hutton,
he's the solution. He's already been tabbed as the solution, the job saver.
This is Hugh Freeze's Hail Mary. Yeah. Like, this is it. And we have seen countless examples of 5-star quarterbacks that for whatever reason just never connect in college. Is Jackson Arnold that? Or is Jackson Arnold a guy who was mishandled in an offense that wasn't perfect for him and lost his confidence after some rough outings? The game against Tennessee is most notable, and it went downhill from there a year ago, and he can get it back with a quarterback-friendly offense and a quarterback-friendly coach in Hugh Freeze. We're going to find out in the month of September.
Much better O-line, too. Much better O-line.
We're going to find out in the month of September. I want to say this, too, about Jackson Arnold and Auburn, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the Any Given Saturday, the SEC series. One big takeaway I saw, this is episode 5 of the series. Diego Pavia on camera says he wanted to kick Hugh Freeze's ass because I already kicked his ass at New Mexico State, and this dude would not offer me a scholarship to come play for him. And he said that would have been a tough scholarship to turn down. He said, I would have had a hard time saying no to Auburn had they wanted me to be their quarterback. They didn't. Now I'm at Vandy. Now I want to stick it to them again. Before the game where they go down to the Plains and beat them.
And the vitriol post-game.
17-7. And I'm like, just think about that for a second, Hutton. The bizarro world where Diego Pavia is Auburn's quarterback last year with Cam Coleman to throw to. What's Auburn's record? What's Vandy's record? What are we saying about Clark Lee and Vandy? What are we saying about Hugh Freeze and Auburn? We're saying Hugh Freeze is a genius. The guy got whipped by this little dude, 5'9" quarterback running around all over the place in New Mexico State. He was smart enough to bring him into the fold, and they go 8-4. And now Hugh Freeze is looking at Auburn and his tenure saying, we're going to be really good with Diego Pavia coming back. That struck me because Pavia said, he didn't say the words exactly.
Yes.
But I took it as, I'm probably not at Vandy if Hugh Freeze called me up after the season and said, dude, we saw enough. We want you.
You're the dude.
We don't have a starting quarterback. And instead of bringing in Peyton Thorne from Michigan State, I want you to be the starter. Then Diego Pavia is a starting quarterback at Auburn. And how different things are. And then where is Jackson Arnold and all that?
Yeah.
Again, I like thinking about those different scenarios.
Me too. Final thing on Arnold. Whenever I saw him play in his debut against Tennessee, I didn't think he was a guy.
He was bad.
And it's a home game. It's not like it's a huge game, but the weight is on Tennessee in that environment. And Jackson Arnold looked like he was playing on the road. What's it like?
Yeah, he
chooses to go to Auburn, so I give him props for that. I wish him success, but I wonder what he feels like going into the season.
He was skipping rocks.
And does he look over his shoulder at the talent behind him?
Yeah, he was.
They have a good quarterback.
He was wildly inaccurate.
Yes, he was.
And that's my phrase for a quarterback who just looks completely off balance is they're skipping rocks. Guys who are one-hopping guys on a simple out route or a screen pass, and it just looks like their feet and their brain and their arm are not synced up at all. That was Jackson Arnold at times last year.
So I've got another SEC quarterback I'm going with for my third and final. And I want to get to some honorable mentions that I didn't put in here because I think they're kind of obvious, but I didn't want to list them up top. Finally, I've got Marcel Reed at A&M because this A&M roster, with the improvement on defense that is expected through Elko's defense, and the additions of Concepcion and Craver at wide receiver, and knowing that they have a great offensive line at A&M. He was 11th in QBR in the SEC last year. Okay? Now, certainly not great. The additions at wide receiver, what can Craver do, who averaged 22 yards per catch for Mississippi State? What's he going to add to the intermediate to deep passing game with Marcel Reed and elevate him into the national conversation? Because if he does this, Marcel Reed takes Texas A&M not just to the college football playoff. They can make a run. They're that talented. But I didn't see the total package from him. But if he puts it together, A&M achieves where they achieve the expectation, and they check that off the list of, okay, we're now where we thought we would be, fan base wise and program wise. Do you agree?
I totally agree. And we're going to get to our playoff predictions the week leading up to the season. I believe right now I'm leaning towards A&M being a surprise SEC team that makes the playoff, the 12-team playoff this year. Marcel Reed could be LaNorris Sellers.
Yes.
A year ago, LaNorris Sellers beat the dog shit out of A&M and Marcel Reed at Williams-Brice Stadium. Destroyed him. One of his best statistical games. And I'm going back and watching some of that game, and I'm thinking, this is Marcel Reed at his height.
Yes.
So all the buzz that LaNorris Sellers is getting to be a Heisman Trophy winner, Marcel Reed could put together that kind of season with this supporting cast at A&M, especially bringing in KC Concepcion, who may have been the best receiver of all the transfer receivers this
Slot
past
receiver.
year.
Yep.
I really like the ceiling for this A&M team. And Hutton, I think that Reed could be a Sellers-type breakthrough player for A&M this season. And he's going to have to be if they're going to be in the playoffs.
He's got to be spectacular in the games where we expect A&M to win. Let me clarify that. He's got to play spectacular football against Notre Dame September 13th. Okay, that goes without saying. There's a 3-game stretch, though, for him early. All at home, back to back. Auburn, Mississippi State, Florida. A&M seems like a program that loses one of those games at home that they probably shouldn't, and it should be a factor in the result of the game, that environment. It's this guy that puts them over the top, because far too often we've seen Miami go to A&M and win 17-7 because the offense can't move the damn ball.
Yep.
Reed's very talented. Can he stack the passing game? Not the short passing game. He's got that. Just the intermediate and really the deep passing game, the threat over the top. If they add that element, A&M is a team you do not want to deal with.
And if they go 3-0 in that stretch, Hutton, to me, that's probably what they have to do to get a playoff berth. But I mean, 2-1 at worst. I mean, we know that you drop a game that you shouldn't a lot of times, then you can get one back.
Right.
Maybe winning a game no one expects. But I'm also circling October 25th when they go to LSU. Like, that to me is such a pivotal game for two teams. LSU, the expectation this year is to be in the playoff.
Yeah.
LSU's expectation is to be there. I don't think A&M's expectation is we are a playoff team, but I think that's such a big swing game for both to get into the playoff.
Here's who else I considered, but I think there's either a quarterback battle where they haven't officially announced these guys, or I don't know. I didn't think they faced as much pressure as the 3 SEC guys. Number one is Julian Sayin at Ohio State. I mean, that goes without saying, right? Pardon the pun.
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
Bryce Underwood, who goes from LSU to Michigan, but again, he's got time there. And Ty Simpson at Alabama. Although it's not official that he's the dude. He's waited 3 years. He's got the talent based on the 5-star and all that. Alabama's quarterback faces a lot of pressure. But I don't know if he faces, it's split between another quarterback right now, right? So maybe they do a dual. I didn't add them just because of that factor as we sit here today.
Let me go and give you two more. Nico Iamaleava at UCLA.
I consider that, but no one's mentioned. What pressure's really there?
I'm just going to say I don't know about pressure on him, not on the UCLA program.
Okay.
But, dude, you played your cards, and you ended up getting paid less to go to a worse team on the West Coast, to go back home. So if you can bail UCLA out of some games and show that 5-star potential, that's a win.
But doesn't he face less pressure doing what he did than if he's the quarterback in Tennessee right now?
Hell yeah, it's way less pressure. I mean, anybody that's a quarterback. But I'm saying that, to me, from the out, not just fan base or any of that, NFL scouts, college football world, dude, you put everything on you.
Yeah.
You look like a fool. Yeah. You get told to GTFO. You're at UCLA. Go prove everybody wrong. anyone who has any bad thing to say about your time at Tennessee, go show that you can carry a team that's not as talented to more wins than anyone expected. The other one's Joey Aguilar, because he got shit on in this process too.
Now, he upgraded the pressure.
UCLA said, hey, we saw you in spring practice. We'll pay $1.5 million for this other dude to come in. And Josh Heupel said, come on. We like your attitude. We like what we saw at Appalachian State. Let's see you do it with the big boys in the SEC. So I think another guy with a chip on his shoulder and something to prove. And Joey Aguilar is going to be viewed as the good guy here, right?
Sure.
He was cast aside. Yep. He's not the selfish one. And now he's at Tennessee, and I think people that are indifferent looking at it, that like football as the ultimate team game, they're going to be rooting like hell for Joey Aguilar to do well at Tennessee, not for Nico.
So
again, different levels of pressure, certainly.
But
I got my eyes on both those guys.
Worth mentioning.
Yeah.
Chad,
honorable mention.
You have finished Any Given Saturday, right?
I did.
I'm 2 episodes away as we sit here today. So I've seen some, not all. The likability factor of this show and how it frames people, it builds if you're walking down the sidewalk, just the notoriety and the popularity of guys is, I think it's invaluable for some. And then there's others who are just like, it's cringeworthy. You've compiled a couple of different ways to look at this from the winners and losers of likability from this show.
Yes, I have, Hut. And so full disclosure, when I sent this list in, I thought I'd seen every episode, and episode 6 I had not watched yet, which focuses on Jeff Levy and Mike Elko. But they don't get multiple episode arcs the way these other coaches did.
Okay.
So I'm going with the coaches that are heavily featured. Levy and Elko would go somewhere in the middle, probably. They're not going to be at the top or the bottom of the likability rankings. I found Elko to be kind of a straight shooter. He'll get on you, and he's not always going to be liked, but yet you know exactly where he's coming from at all times type coach, what everyone has said about him. And I found Levy just to be a good old country boy football coach, the way I would expect Levy to be, both likable in their own way, but not cracking this list. So, number 1, most likable coach at the end of Any Given Saturday is the one that everybody roots for that doesn't have a dog in the hunt because it's Vanderbilt. And most of the country roots for Vanderbilt because they are the eternal underdog in college football. Clark Lea at number 1. Clark Lea delivered some of the best fiery speeches of anybody in this series throughout. The dude wears the chip on the shoulder well. You can do it to an extent where it's annoying, where it's always us against the world and nobody respects us. I think Clark Lea balances we're going to go earn some GD respect, as he says at one point before the Auburn game, mixed with this is the expectation for us. We are going to be one of these programs. We're going to be the ones talked about being the big dog. That's the goal of what we want. I thought Clark Lea came across very well in this entire series.
Authentic, he's believable, and he is passionate about the program he's coaching. He loves the program. This is the opposite of another coach I'm going to bring up later in your ranking.
And Hutton, I do think that these shows, like even Hard Knocks, which I'm watching now with the Bills, the best thing that they do for the consumer of this type of entertainment is, to me, it gives you a look behind the curtain. I'm not looking as much as the on-camera interviews. I am how do they interact with their team, their assistant coaches, everything else. And we always come away with a surprising reaction to them. Some good, some bad. Some guys you think you're going to love going in, you don't like them as much. Some guys you don't think anything about, and now you're thinking a lot about them because they come across so well.
Or the perception you have of them kind of plays a factor in how you feel about them.
Number 2 on the list, the guy that everybody who covers this team loves him, it's Sam Pittman at Arkansas. And I don't think he did anything to dispel the notion that he's one of the more likable, genuine coaches in college football. He's so calm and even keeled the entire time. It's not a put on. He's not phony about it, kind of the way he is on the sideline with his team.
Yeah.
He's just like, hey, let's go out there and kick their ass. It was his pregame pep talk before the Tennessee game where they got a big upset, and Pittman in Arkansas was featured in it. But the way he talks about, I'm going to be fine. I got this big buyout. If I get fired, I'm making millions. He's like, I worry about my secretary out there losing her job. Those are the people and interviewing the secretary who's saying, this is the best person I've worked for. Like the way he thinks of others and puts them before himself, it's genuine.
It's actions, not words.
I love Sam Pittman.
He reminds you. I think he reminds everyone of like their dad or their grandfather in the South.
He is the definition of a servant leader, right? He's not all bluster and ego. He is. How can I help you achieve your dreams? How can I help this organization get better?
Yeah.
And it's not just, I'm saying this because I want to be liked. He's saying it because he believes that's how you form a good program.
He cares.
Yes.
He cares about the individual.
Yeah. So Sam Pittman, really liked how he came across. Number 3, Shane Beamer. Shane Beamer at times can come across as like Butch Jones light to me.
Yeah, I agree.
With some of his stuff. I found it to be very believable in this series.
I did too.
I like the interaction with his kids on the sideline. I love the way he talks about his team. Some people griped when I initially said this that, well, he doesn't need to be complaining about fan reaction when you make as much money as him.
Well,
I get that, but
sure.
I don't think he was really griping about it. He was just talking about the realities of it and talked about the realities of growing up in a household where his dad, Frank Beamer, was the head coach of Virginia Tech for years.
And how he doesn't want to be Frank's son. Like,
Yeah.
he does, but he doesn't want to be known. He wants to carve his own path. I love that element of it.
Yeah, he wants a statue in South Carolina.
Right.
The way his dad has a statue in
It's
Blacksburg.
like, there's Shane, Frank's son.
Number 4, Josh Heupel. There's not much to say about Josh Heupel, so I'm going to make this very quick.
Okay.
He's exactly what I expected. That's neither good nor bad. He talked exactly the same way I expected him to talk. He did drop an F-bomb, which I've never heard Josh Heupel drop when he was talking to his team, which surprised me a little bit. And it almost like he looks towards the camera as he says it, and his eyes get a little big, like, oh crap. I didn't know cameras were around when I did this. But I thought he was fine. Like, I believe Josh Heupel when he talks. I think he is an all-ball type guy. He's not going to give you a lot of nonsense. He's going to help you. He was a little more fiery with the team in the pregame pep talks than I expected out of him. So Josh Heupel, fine. He's 4th on the list.
I'll just say he's if when he does that, he's not playing it up for the camera.
Yeah.
That's how I view Josh Heupel. He's not doing it because he knows the camera's there. In fact, he's doing it because he's not thinking about it.
So
which I like.
Now we're getting to the bottom 3
Here we go.
on the list, okay? So we're going to the bad. Like Josh Heupel's the end of like the okay on the series.
Yeah.
Billy Napier, number 5. You may crush me over this. I know they talk about his dad having ALS and all that whole process, and it's very sad and heartbreaking, and he seems like a very decent and good man.
Yeah.
He did nothing for me the entire time. I don't understand why a top prospect would go and play for him. There was zero charisma. Again, like it's not necessarily bad. I didn't find it to be phony or lying to players or any of that. I just listened to him speak, and I feel nothing. The opposite of Clark Lee. If Clark Lee came in here and gave us a pep talk the way he did, at times it'd be like, hell yeah, let's attack the day. If Billy Napier walked in and tried to give me a pep talk, I would say, let me go take a nap.
But here's what I'm thinking. He did this, like he built this up through like Lafayette. So it's like, how does he do it at that level and have such success? And I'm watching this, I'm thinking the same thing. It's like you consider like the leader of men, like in the locker room, what's going on. And it doesn't come across the way I would perceive it to, given the success and how he's worked his way to the SEC.
Yeah,
it clearly does it well, but we didn't see it.
His charisma makes Josh Heupel look like Tom Cruise when he addresses the team. Like that's saying a lot in the rough way. Number 6, here's where we get kind of the phony territory.
Okay.
Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze felt to me when he addressed the team like a very cringy head of a mega church youth group when he talked to the team.
That fits.
And I think that the players responded to him like members of that youth group would.
He looks like Haley Joel Osment.
With a look of he's wearing shorts. I guarantee he didn't go with the dress code at the country club. He's definitely wearing shorts on a hot day. No pants. No pants for Hugh Freeze in this golf shot. I'm not saying Hugh Freeze is a bad guy or that he doesn't believe the things that he says and all that. Hutton, when he's like nearly crying, talking about things,
he could cry out demand
to the team. I'm like, much like he can put himself in a body cast on demand the way he did.
Once upon a time in Los Angeles, like he would, he's just the best actor I've ever seen.
I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it with Hugh Freeze. I don't think his players, looking at their reaction, bought much of what he was saying. I think this is Hugh Freeze.
You think it's righteous Jim?
I think it's just Hugh Freeze's last year in major college football coaching. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put that out there.
And we're getting to the one I've been waiting on.
Dead last, least likable guy, maybe in the entire country, certainly in the SEC, is Brian Kelly.
Yes.
When Brian Kelly, with a straight face, looks at the camera and says, I got my mortgage and all my finances tied up in 18 to 21-year-old kids, putting on his little fake Southern accent for a guy from Boston, Massachusetts, and saying that, I'm thinking, dude, shut the hell up. I don't want to hear about that. The money you made at Notre Dame, the money in your bio, the money you took to go to LSU, give me a freaking break. He has the same agent as his quarterback, which is hilarious. Trace Armstrong represents him and Garrett Nussmeier. So, they have a phone call. It's like a 2-minute phone call. They show it where Trace Armstrong's having to call him about whether or not Nussmeier's going to come back for another year. And Kelly just goes, well, I share an agent with my quarterback, so that's certainly interesting. And then it cuts away. Hutton, another guy that I think he's a good CEO, and I think he knows how to run an organization.
Yeah.
But I would have a hard time hanging out with him.
Chad,
you don't watch him talk to his team and think, I want to go have a drink with this guy.
Let me explain. Like there's a cringeworthy factor with him where he plays to the camera, and he's doing it. There's a couple of examples. Number one. That family scene where his dad's like mentioned Ole Miss could win it all this year. It's like they had a stand-in actor playing the father, and Brian Kelly's trying to act like that's his dad sitting there talking about it.
Yeah.
Like it's just very phony. Like
let me hit my mark. I'll walk in at the right time and do this.
I know it's real, but it's not real.
Yeah.
That's number one. Number two, going back to you mentioned, who would play for this coach or that coach? How do they do? The way he comes across from the jump, the way the show starts, and he's doing that. He's sitting down with the producer or whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, somebody's just got to be an asshole, and I enjoy being the asshole." I'm paraphrasing that, but he kind of smirks at the camera when he says it. It's like, who would want to go play for that guy? Like a genuine, this guy gives a damn about me, because it's all about him. That's the way I perceive Brian Kelly,
and even
but he gets great recruits.
Yeah,
and all that. But half his staff didn't want to go with him. They stayed.
The only part I liked of him when he's telling us as a coach, we can't do this half speed. We can't do these drills half speed.
And
he's getting irritated as it goes.
Yeah. But again,
even the clip we've seen where after the USC game, where the build up to that looked fake.
I agree. But I'll say this. The dude's had quality success. All the pressure's mounting on him being the coach who hasn't won a title. That's all great. But, the result speaks for itself when you see what he's done on paper. But when you see this is acting to me.
Yeah.
And I don't...
Make sure you hit your spot when you walk in and pour the drink for your dad.
Yeah.
As your dad talks about Ole Miss.
Would you like a Cabernet or a Merlot?
I'm looking for an X with tape on the ground where he has to hit a mark for Netflix in that moment because he's acting.
Another example. You got the entire wall of wine, right? As if the father doesn't know what the hell wine his son's about to pour for everybody. If you've got that in your house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's like, would you like, I've got this.
And Brian Kelly is...
I didn't look it up.
Definitely a wine drinker.
Do you think it was a cheap bottle, or do you think it was as expensive as all get out? It absolutely was.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All because those 18 to 21-year-olds.
I'm not saying he's not a good coach. I'm saying he's not a good dude. He doesn't come across as a good dude.